Hey, Yashar, why are we talking about a fucking Marvel movie again? It has been a long time since we have done this.
Because generally...
Where's Ash Vinder Suri? You remember Ash? Where's he at?
Oh, shit.
Culture Shock, old Culture Shock days. That's like, That's the mythology days of the show. Fucking the Mytharch days where we still cared.
Speaking of Ash, the new Evil Dead game is out. It's quite good. Speaking of Evil Dead.
Hell of a transition. Oh my God, Sam Raimi directed a Marvel movie. Sort of, maybe. Who knows? On this episode of the Culture Cast, I'm joined once again by my good friend and yours, all the way from Texas, somewhere. Recording artist, friend to all, Jesus impersonator, possibly? No, Easter Bunny. Easter Bunny performer. For fuck's sake. Andrew Gnosis. Andy Gnosis. We'll just Andy Gnosis.
Andy Gnosis is fine.
Don't fucking undersell yourself. Don't undersell yourself around me, at least. Undersell yourself around other people.
It's all the same shit.
Is it Mr. Gnosis? Or
Mr. Gnosis?
Sir Gnosis. Sir.
Mr. Gnosis. It sounds like a disease.
Speaking of diseases.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Speaking of diseases, all the way from a diseased island full of people. My oldest friend in the book.
I'm one bad day away from getting deported to Rwanda. I don't know if you guys follow UK politics.
No, because we live in the United States.
Okay, let me tell you a little fun fact about the UK, who has a very, very racist lady in charge of immigration, who herself is the daughter of Indian immigrants. They have a new policy, and in this policy, they will take migrants, illegal immigrants, and send them to Rwanda.
Wait, migrants and illegal immigrants?
No. Like if you're an illegal immigrant,
they're taking the migrants too. Oh my God, Nevin, what have they done?
They're paying. I mean, no. If you're Ukrainian, you're fine.
If you're white, you mean?
If you're undesirable, they send you to Rwanda. It's quite controversial because, as you can imagine.
Wow, what a surprise!
Yeah, it's not a good look at all. And the whole point of it is it's supposed to dissuade illegal immigrants from coming over, but it's not, because obviously if you're coming because of like you're a refugee, you're not really like doing this calculus in your head. But
no, anyway. Great. Thanks, our UK government update. Overseas correspondent, Yashar Pirasteh.
So that explains my Rwanda joke.
Yeah.
I said anyway.
Speaking of things that don't need any explanation, we are talking about another Marvel movie. Ladies and gentlemen, Marvel movies are back finally. Tenet tried. He tried. That pesky Chris Nolan was like, I'm going to try to rush it. And that movie stank. Not only did it was
I didn't see it.
Tenet crawled so Doctor Strange could walk.
Yeah. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, a.k.a. Doctor Strange 2, a.k.a. the 10th largest opening in cinema history in the United States.
Every night, I dream the same dream. And then... the nightmare begins. I did what I had to do to protect our world.
You cannot control everything, Strange. You opened the doorway between universes, and we don't know who or what will walk through it.
Wanda, what do you know about the multiverse?
Viz had his theories. He believed it was dangerous.
He was right.
I'm sorry, Stephen. Your desecration of reality will not go unpunished.
We should tell him the truth.
Things just got out of hand.
break the rules.
Look out!
And become a hero. I do it, and I become the enemy. It doesn't seem fair.
So they're getting a Doctor Strange 3, folks. I mean, I still remember a moment where they were like, is Doctor Strange really going to get another movie? And now it's like, oh, how can we fucking make sure the next movie makes twice as much money? Because, ladies and gentlemen, this movie has been a resounding success. Regardless of our opinions, it has been a financial boon for our friends over at this little small company you may have heard of. I get to make the same joke everybody else does. Disney. Bet you've never heard of them before. Right?
And that's without even opening in China.
Yeah, right? Because, they can't open in China if they have gays in the movie.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
Disney
was it China where they took the gays out, or was that the Middle East?
Yeah, it was, they
probably both.
But the Disney's whole thing now, I think now they're trying to be like moral, which I don't know if we can ever say they were, but now they're saying like they can do without opening in China. I mean, which they can, but obviously
they can do without opening in China. Frankly, given Chinese kind of feelings on ghosts and spirits, I would be shocked if this movie opened in China at all.
It would be cursed.
Right? That's the whole thing, right? Like,
I don't know if that's a thing.
It's a witch movie.
Well, that's the thing. Like in China, there's this whole cultural thing about like not having like ghosts in your movies.
Sure,
which is why
is that true?
Yeah, which is why Ghostbusters didn't even open in China.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, it's a respect for the dead type thing, respect for your elders. I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, internet. But yeah, I don't see this movie flying. This movie, like I said, Doctor Strange 2. So before we talk about the movie's spoilers, which there's sort of spoilers.
We're going to talk about Outer Range? Okay, sure. I'll tell you.
No, we're not going to talk about whatever the fuck you want to talk about. We'll talk about that in a second. I don't even know what the fuck you're trying to talk about. Yashar, would you, taking everything equal, would you suggest someone go out and see Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? Go to the theaters, because that's the only way. Only in theaters, guys.
I would say fuck yes.
Was that a fuck yes?
Fuck yes. Yeah, that was a fuck yes. It wasn't a perfect movie, but I really enjoyed it. It was highly entertaining. Definitely better than the first Doctor Strange movie. And we can talk about some plot mechanics aside that kind of discount a lot of what happened in WandaVision, but there's multiple reasons why that happened. It actually had like a really good villain performance, and Benny Cumberbatch, however you pronounce his name, I can never do it. Pretty solid guy. Basically just doing Tony Stark with jazz hands, but I was into it.
Pretty much anymore. Andrew, what about you, the resident horror fan? Sam Raimi, actual Sam Raimi fan, not just I like Marvel movies. I'm not saying that was you.
Whoa.
I'm not saying that's you. I'm not saying that's you, but I'm saying like for a lot of people, this will be their first Sam Raimi movie. Like
no, because they've all seen Spider-Man 3.
Those Spider-Man movies are less Sam Raimi movies than this movie is.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. So Andy, resident horror fan, not to discount you being a fan of other things, but what did you think of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness?
Yashar took the words right out of my mouth. It was not a perfect film, but I did enjoy it. And I would give it a fuck yeah, you should go see it in theaters because, things aside that, may have not made sense, spectacle-wise, it is worth seeing on a big screen. The visuals were amazing. The performances were cool. And I like that it felt like a horror film. Now, me being a fan of Marvel films already, but also loving horror, this was just a great time for me. And on Mother's Day is when I saw it.
Oddly, what a fucking ironic day to watch this goddamn movie on.
I didn't know that it was a Mother's Day movie.
It kind of is a Mother's Day movie.
Yeah. Like the whole plot. The trailers didn't give anything away, to me at least, as far as what the plot was. I just kept seeing the Scarlet Witch on the poster. So I assumed it was her teaming up with Doctor Strange to, shut down the Multiverse of Madness or some shit. And you get about 15 minutes into the movie and realize, oh, she's the villain.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Is that, yeah, I guess. Here's the thing, question though. To Andrew's point, because I'm glad you said spoilers there, Yashar. That is the only spoiler I think we can get away with saying, and I will say this much about it. Who else did we think the villain was going to be in a movie where they never advertised the villain?
So, I mean, I don't think it actually was Shumagorath, but that like Shumagorath-esque.
But they didn't.
Character.
But again, as someone who knows movies, they didn't show enough of that to convince me that was the villain of the movie.
And then there was the kind of like the sinister strange that people thought might. I never thought it was the one from What If because his story gets taken, but like a sinister strange-esque character,
right?
People thought like might be the villain. So it was. I think that's what the.
But they would have shown it more. Like that's my point. Like they just. Yeah. And there was shit that they were saying. I think around WandaVision where they were like the villain in Doctor Strange is somebody that you've already seen, and it's like. So I do want to take a stop. So from my understanding, this was actually supposed to come out not only before No Way Home, but also before WandaVision. So and I'm almost certain. How would that make sense?
So they did a lot of rewrites. Well, also remember.
I know that because Scott Derrickson was. So Scott Derrickson was originally supposed to direct this movie. So so hold on. Let's take a pause here. So we all agree. I think watch it. I'm a little less enthusiastic than you guys are, but I can talk about why. But from here on out, spoilers. So this movie is kind of directed by Sam Raimi, but Scott Derrickson was originally the director. So take that into account because there are some things that I think are not Sam Raimi's fault that are probably just problems from a movie getting handed over halfway through. It does star Benedict Cumberbatch once again, Elizabeth Olsen, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Benedict Wong, Xochitl Gomez, and that's about it. Rachel McAdams is in the movie, but I just think so she doesn't have to be in anymore is really why she was in the movie.
She was in there surprisingly a good amount of the movie.
Right.
Had no idea that she would be either. I didn't even know she was in the movie.
But the movie does follow Doctor Strange as he is tasked with protecting a girl played by Xochitl Gomez who can multiverse trip by no reason of her own at the beginning of the movie. At the end, she finds out that I guess she can somewhat control it by punching things. So that's the movie. And if it sounds like the movie doesn't really have that much of a plot, because it doesn't. It's more of a spectacle. It's a spectacle.
It's less about like the wider Marvel thing.
Yeah, which is weird given the title of the movie almost lends itself to you believing that this is going. Yeah. There is nothing in this movie that happens that will have any consequence on anything, I think.
That's not. I don't know.
There's only like one thing. It's like the one big thing that happens.
There's three things. When we get to spoilers,
okay.
I will mention.
We're here.
Oh, are we in spoilers? Okay. The three things. A, Scarlet Witch, she's definitely gonna be back. Two, America Chavez is gonna be in other things. And three, obviously the Clea Strange thing, which Marvel's going so deep in the bag. I didn't know who Clea Strange was. I'm like a very, although I've never been into really Doctor Strange, I'm like a pretty big comic fan. So I was like, who is this person? But to go back, so originally it was supposed to come out in May of 2021, so right before WandaVision. And I think and it makes sense if, Wanda starts off as an ally, gets a little more evil, and then feeds into WandaVision where she's in a darker place. And then kind of the ending of WandaVision would have kind of where she gets out of that. Whereas now they had to almost retrofit it where I guess I'm assuming they kept WandaVision's plot relatively similar, but then kind of had her break bad again. And then this would have fed into No Way Home, in which America Chavez would have actually been Ned, who's instead of him using the sling ring, she would have opened the portals that got the other two Spider-Men into the movie. So they had, and because Sony wouldn't push back their times, they had to do a lot of juggling. And then, as you said, Scott Derrickson left. They hired Sam Raimi over a weekend because Kevin Feige apparently worked with him as like an assistant when Sam Raimi was doing the Spider-Man movies. So that's how they became friends. And then he was like, "Yo, like, you want to do the Spider-Man movie?" And he's like, "Yeah, basically, I'll come do it." And
as you just do, calling your friends over a weekend.
Yeah. So, with all of that in mind, I'm a little bit more forgiving of some of the maybe plot inconsistencies.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not. I like this movie. It is a spectacle, but like you do kind of have to rein in your expectations because it's like two different movies in a lot of ways. Like they're having to do some things that are that don't make sense in the grand scheme of the world that they've created. Because, like you said, this movie, I had forgotten about that. The whole Scott Derrickson thing, I think, is one thing, but the movie also just getting pushed back is, I think, a much bigger problem, obviously, because the timing then canonically makes no sense.
Yeah, and that's why like they make a mention of like basically no one being in contact with Wanda for like over a year. So basically between WandaVision and this, she's just like isolated with the Darkhold, which I guess
makes sense.
But it's also like
why she's so powerful. She's been studying it.
But no one checked in on her. I mean, I guess you could make the argument she didn't want to be found. Fair.
Spells.
Okay, fine.
Magic in the Marvel Universe is still, I think, very... Can we just address this? Magic in the Marvel Universe is still very poorly defined. Like,
because there is no definition to it.
It's just like magic. Like
it never has been.
I will even in the comic books, it's not like
it's very chaos magic. I mean, now they've finally like powered her up to like her appropriate levels where she basically just can do anything.
Where she can kill people by just pointing a finger at them and going bang.
Like the Force in Star Wars is more definition than the magic in the Marvel Universe.
And the magic in the Marvel Universe is so strong it can vaporize people.
Right, but I'm all here for.
Well, I mean, that in the comic book, she says no more mutants like that.
Yes,
her just saying that is enough in the comics.
She has reality altering powers, so
right,
and that's kind of the point. Is the nebulousness of her powers, like whatever the writer wants her to do, they can make her do because technically it's within scope. But the
very Superman-esque that way.
Do we want to talk about Wanda a bit? And like, okay. So
let's talk about Doctor Strange. He's infinitely more entertaining.
By the way, can we call it a Doctor Strange movie? Because it's like the Trojan horse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is. The title should have been Doctor Strange and the Scarlet Witch. Like it's
not Doctor Strange 2.
No, it's weird because Doctor Strange, I honestly think he works best as a character in something else, not in his own movie.
Because it's like Captain America: Civil War. It's kind of just another Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Which
is an ensemble cast movie. This really is like.
Yeah. So Doctor Strange 2.
They followed up on basically nothing from the first movie. Like, I don't even know why they put Mordo in this movie because like the main Mordo is doing something way more interesting than this alternate Mordo.
Well, the main Mordo, that's the thing. The other thing they cut out of this movie was 616 Mordo dying.
What do you mean? Was he originally supposed to be killed by Scarlet Witch?
Yeah, so the original opening for the movie was supposed to have Mordo chasing down Scarlet Witch, and then she kills his ass like in the first 5 minutes of the movie. So Mordo in our universe is dead.
Well, no, because it wasn't done in the movie, so I'm sure they're gonna bring it back.
Deleted? Okay. I mean,
it didn't happen.
They fucking filmed it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, delete scenes aren't canon, bro. But that would have been a very trolly opening.
Just kill the possible setup villain in the first 5 minutes of your movie.
Yeah. I thought the Wanda thing was interesting because the whole point of WandaVision is she goes through grief and like matures and whatnot, and finally is like, oh, I fucked up. I should have done that. But she has the Darkhold. And the movie really leans into the fact that the Darkhold really can corrupt a person. So I think that's how we're supposed to really buy this. Like she goes from kind of hurting to just basically single-minded, almost, I don't want to say sociopath because she has emotions, but
you don't want to say sociopath.
But and just basically, once you just accept that, okay, I don't know if this really makes sense with where I saw her last, and you just accept that she's there. It's really enjoyable. Her Elizabeth Olsen's performance is amazing. You do see some like very horror-esque elements. Not that I found it particularly scary, but for Marvel, it was pretty gruesome. The only thing
I don't know. I don't agree with the film's PG-13 rating. I think it should be an R. There was some fucking backlash online when people were like,
"Really?
Yeah." People were like,
blood and
people were like, "This shouldn't be rated PG-13. This should be rated R." And it's like, really? If this is an R-rated Marvel movie, I hope they could do better than that. Like,
is Drag Me to Hell rated R or PG-13?
Yeah, Drag Me to Hell's R, I think.
No, Drag Me to Hell's PG-13.
Is it?
Because it reminds me of Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah, Drag Me to Hell is PG-13, which is why people were like, the retort to what people were saying was, have you not seen Drag Me to Hell? Like, that movie is rated PG-13.
Also, you have to have like obscene gore or, sex for it.
Yeah, or just gay sex primarily.
And
the biggest of the taboos for the MPA. MPA, not MPAA anymore. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Oh, what does it stand for? Massive
Pricks
Penis.
Anonymous.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Movie Pricks Anonymous.
The one thing that like the hardest thing to believe in all of this was that Vision wouldn't show up with like Wanda just going insane. And I know they don't know what they want to do with him yet. And
I wouldn't either. I don't like Vision.
Oh, I really do like the Vision, but
Really?
the fact that, yeah. But the fact, I mean, we can. I don't know. If but
we're gonna go to Paul Bettany in his role as the CGI Vision Man. Yeah, I'm kind of shocked that they didn't. How about the fact that I prepared to watch this movie the same way I bet a lot of people prepared to watch this movie by watching Spider-Man and nothing at all?
Mm-mm.
Well, he does mention
one singular throwaway line.
But he doesn't remember.
Then he wouldn't have remembered casting the fucking spell, my friend.
No, he remembers casting the spell, but it's
on
like
who?
Like
on who? On who?
Spider-Man. On Spider-Man.
What? Get the fuck out of here. That's some lazy ass. You know what? Here's my point. If you're gonna have an entire plot of the last movie be erased at the end of the movie by this character who's in this movie, he needs to not remember to, and you don't need to have that line in your movie, period.
We're talking about the dinner scene, right? Or the lunch scene with the girl?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where she's like, does it come out of this web come out of his butt? And he's like, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah. And it's like, well, like you can talk about Spider-Man, but you can't be like, we cast a spell on Spider-Man. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, that's lazy. That's just lazy. And again, I was surprised that they don't mention any Spider-Man anything, nothing.
Well, actually, I think that and the Vision thing, when I think about it, makes sense because the script was written before both those things were supposed to come out. So Vision was supposed to be dead and before his resurrection in WandaVision. And then it's supposed to be written before No Way Home. So it does kind of make sense.
You know who does shit like this? DC. This is not, like, that's, you know what? Like, can we just get this out in the open? This is very un-Marvel to have the timing be this off.
Well, they can't control. Sony wouldn't delay No Way Home. Sony's just like, because they're like, we're just going to release it. And they actually made a good move because it made insane amounts of money. So Marvel is like,
it's going to make insane amounts of money fucking whenever they released it. Get the fuck out of here. You could not convince me otherwise that movie would not make buku bucks if they released it 5 months later.
I understand, but you got to realize, like, I mean.
Oh, I realize who's trying to make money.
I want to make money. Yeah, they're like,
I get it. They want to. I get it. That's not lost on me. But this movie should have come out first. Because now that you're mentioning this, like this, it irritates me more that this movie is the way that it is. Because it feels like it spends half the time trying to get us to understand that they know that this shit's fucked up with the timing and they just can't do anything about it.
It didn't bother me it bothered me like a little bit, but like I said, once I kind of got over the Wanda
movie
stuff,
it could have been, because for me, my biggest issue with this movie is it's called Multiverse of Madness and they're in one universe. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, to include the Incursion one. Yeah.
I think this movie was a lot more entertaining in my mind than it ever was going to be on screen.
Well, when you have a title like that, I mean,
right.
I was like Sam Raimi's name attached to a movie called The Multiverse of Madness. I figured it would, Family Guy had an episode that traveled more multiverses than this.
Rick and Morty does, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a Disney movie, what is it? The Chippendale? That's supposed to be coming out.
Yeah.
And so that's what I expected. I expected bouncing between multiverses, and then especially at the beginning of the film, introducing this. What's the character's name? I'm gonna call her Star Child.
It's
America Chavez.
It's Chavez. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought she had like a superhero name, but
she does.
Wait. That is a superhero. That's the most superhero name of them all.
America Chavez sounds like someone I went to school with. Like,
who names their child America?
America.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like that. Just sounds like a superhero name.
If she was just America, yeah, but like AC,
no, yeah.
I don't know.
It's just America Chavez.
Yeah, well, they introduced her. I was like, oh, okay, so she's going to be the one that's like really his way of bouncing in between all these universes. They kind of they do, but it was more like falling through universes.
One scene is all it was.
Yeah, and it was cool.
Yeah,
but I would like to let's explore these a little bit. When
the animated Spider-Man movie does it better than both of the live action movies did, we have a problem.
Well,
but an unsurprising problem, because in the world of animation, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, you can do it. Yeah, there's basically
but to be fair, let's just get this again out into the open. Marvel can also kind of do whatever the fuck they want. Their pockets are deep enough.
It's predominantly CGI. So
John Krasinski was not their first choice for that scene.
No. And
You
Who
know,
was?
their first choice was Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
And Daniel Craig couldn't make it. And so they were like, well, I guess we'll just fucking give John Krasinski the fan casting that everybody's been bitching about for the last 10 years.
Only for his head to be popped like a pimple.
The Daniel Craig thing, I think, would have been infinitely more exciting. Because the John Krasinski thing was like, yeah, okay.
Cool.
He was like clearly like not on stage with anyone else, and like he was just very like a weird performance.
Clicks a button, shows up, and then just dies.
Yeah, I mean, the Illuminati casting was mostly cool. I mean, Captain Carter was really the only one that did anything cool besides Professor X. Professor X coming out with the little like
yeah, but that has nothing to do with the movie itself. That's musical stings.
Oh no, but I liked using the little.
I know, but like, okay. So but what does that mean?
His death was sick. It just means that
you can't even answer the fucking question. You're just gonna.
Well, it means
the problem is it means nothing. It really does.
Yeah, I mean that's what the multiverse is. You can do whatever. You can test. You can right. We want to cast Krasinski. Maybe we won't cast him in the actual Fantastic Four. Maybe we will. But like we can have our cake and eat it too. It's right, how it's been exactly. It's like that in the comics, and now it's like that in the movies, where there's not really the same level of stakes that you would like, but.
It's hard. It's really hard, especially considering that they're still following Endgame. That was the most apocalyptic feeling of, if we don't win this, everyone is fucked, Right. And so the stakes after are like, but it doesn't feel like anybody's going to be affected by this because you can kill off a character that you really like in that multiverse, and it doesn't really count because the real one is still in your universe. And that's why like Professor X being snapped, I was like, at first I was like, no way. And then I was like, well, I don't think it matters.
But does this really matter?
Like, does it count?
Well, that's again, like that's the funny thing. And I don't know if I've said this to you, Yashar, but like, you're a fan of comic books just like I am. Like you and I like grew up together. We read a shitload of comic books together. And so fuck. So you and I both know that like they've been doing this crossover shit forever. Like Batman and Superman and Batman, like that's already happened a million times over in the comics. And now it's like, oh my God, you mean we could do this in the movies?
Yeah.
And it's like, no shit, guys. You're the ones, like, if you guys can't decide to do it, it's not because we're not wanting you to, because we read these comic books that have it all the time. And it's like, they just now figured out in the last 2 years that they could put Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in a movie together. Like, you fucking assholes. Like, they've been doing that in the comic book. You think there's only one version of Spider-Man in the comics?
Actually, DC kind of started with Joker, right? Where they were like, we're just going to do this completely separate thing that has nothing to do with the existing Batman movies. And like, people loved it, right? It made a shit ton of money. And it's like,
it's a one shot. It's a fucking one shot. That's all it is.
Yes. The audiences aren't as dumb, I think, as they originally thought.
They've never been that dumb.
Yeah.
Especially in like, it doesn't surprise me that it's taken this long for them to realize, because, crossover films, I don't know what it is. People think that they are way too far-fetched when really they're not. It's right there. You could just do it. And look how long it took Freddy versus Jason to happen.
Right.
That was in the works since like the early 90s, if not the late 80s. And they've been wanting to make it happen. And it took until 2003 to finally
convince them to make it. Like,
yeah. And then they did, and I liked it, and I had fun with it, and it is what it is. It's like, you could just keep doing this because it's a lot of fun. But
what do you guys think of the Illuminati stuff?
What
do you think of the Illuminati stuff?
I thought it was an interesting title. I was like, the Illuminati will see you. Okay. And then it's the Illuminati is what?
Did you wait, Andrew? You didn't know about any of the Illuminati stuff before the movie, right?
No, I didn't. I'm not familiar with the comics.
I see.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm a movie guy, so
right. So that's an interesting perspective though, because like Yashar and I know what that is. I mean, and like in the comic book, it's a little less defined than it is in the movie.
Okay.
It's more defined in the comic.
It's like basically they exist because the incursion thing. It seems like they're building up to Secret Wars, but the incursion thing is happening in the Illuminati in the comics. It's like Black Bolt, Namor, Mr. Fantastic, maybe Iron Man.
Yeah.
and Professor X. I don't know. I'm missing, but not the exact same roster they have in there. And
because a lot of the characters in the Illuminati technically aren't even introduced yet.
Just yet, yeah, like Namor. And so their whole thing is like they're basically protecting Earth against the incursions and threats they can't see, so they make the real hard choices. And so obviously this is a version of the Illuminati, not like our version. I'm sure and it's kind of like that, have our cake and eat too. Like, if we want to introduce the Illuminati into the 616, we can, because now like people are at least familiar with it. If we don't, that's fine. But we can,
because the way it felt to me was like they're what a successful Avengers would have been. That would have been like actually accepted by government, because in this universe, the Avengers are seen as rogue, and troublemakers and rule breakers and whatnot. So that's what I thought it was. I was like, okay, I guess this is a universe where like an Avengers or some type of assembly, of superheroes, because, they face off with Wanda, although
they sure do, don't they?
They were there, and it was funny because they were like, "Oh, we'll handle your little witch,"
Witch, yeah,
that's no problem. You're the problem, and she fucking kills them all. More violence is what I was saying to myself. I was like watching the movie like this, and I was like, "Please, more violence. I just want more violence."
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I'm with you, Andrew, 100%. Like the best parts of this movie are that. Like, that's like anytime there's like actively weird shit going on, that's just so antithetical to everything we've seen in Marvel, a relatively bloodless endeavor the MCU has been for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And
the Black Bolt
killing himself, blowing his own
the Black Bolt death
is
the
fucking
Black Bolt
wild.
Death was insane.
He could kill you with one whisper from his mouth. What mouth?
Yeah, I mean, come on. Holy shit. This dude like blows his brain up just standing there. Mr. Fantastic's death, I think, is a little bit of a cop out. I think it's it's fucking lame.
I didn't even get to see what he does.
It just well, that's because for whatever reason they hadn't pre-vised him yet. But
okay. Whatever.
Okay. They didn't have Mr. Fantastic do anything. It was very strange.
He just got ripped apart. No, it was Doctor Strange. No. She was basically like Freddy Krueger or Jason Voorhees, just an unstoppable.
She's a monster.
Just a straight up savage, relentless, unstoppable. I'm fully convinced could kill Thanos.
Well, yeah, she definitely could.
Well, see, she was very close to killing him as just Wanda. As just Wanda. She wasn't even that elevated yet. She hadn't reached Scarlet Witch status yet.
Yeah.
So she could have killed him then. I'm convinced now that she could have stopped the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just face off with him, even if he was wearing his armor, even if he was protected by the stones.
Well, we saw like she's stronger than Doctor Strange with one stone and basically all of Kamar-Taj. Like Doctor Strange just straight up like, I cannot defeat her. Like it would take it was like it's going to take every single one of us highly trained wizards or whatever sorcerers to even like hold up a consistent defense against her.
And then she vapos people with like one shot. She's like, bang.
I want to know what the mythos is that behind that in the Marvel universe. Is witchcraft more powerful than sorcery?
It's not witchcraft. It's just she's just more powerful because she just has like. Her thing is chaos magic, which like it's just
she's
like
an Infinity Stone. She's a human being imbued with Infinity Stone powers,
right? Like Captain Marvel, right?
But she's considered like an Omega level mutant, which kind of means like
but mutants aren't in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Well,
they're not.
They're made.
They're made. Yeah, they're made.
Well, technically now, because we know in at least one universe there's in the 828 or whatever, because Professor X is a mutant. But like, in the 616 we've not officially seen mutants.
They never said he was. They never said he was a mutant, though.
I mean, okay, but
all I'm saying is they're all I'm saying, and I'm trying to reinforce is they're trying to have their cake and eat it too in all of this.
Yeah,
it's a little bit of a cop out. It's a lot of bit of a cop out.
Yeah. I mean, there's no real, and even like they didn't know what to do with Christine Palmer, and so they gave Rachel McAdams like the alternate universe of kind of basically send off with our Strange, and like she had a lot more to do in this movie, but because like she basically had nothing to do in the first movie. And Rachel McAdams is a great actress,
pretty much any of the female counterparts. I mean, like Natalie Portman had dick to do in those Thor movies.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. But now she's gonna have a huge role in the fourth one.
Yeah.
I hope. I fucking hope so.
I mean, the trailer the teaser trailer suggests.
Yeah.
But was anybody else horrified for Rachel McAdams? I was like, you're fucked. There's no way, like, because she was trying to get. Well, she was trying to get the glass open.
Oh yeah. I thought she was toast. I was like,
yeah, I was like, and like she killed. What's the British one? I'm not too familiar. With.
Captain Carter.
Captain Carter.
She was. Oh, I loved that. She's haven't you had enough? She's like, no, I can do this all day.
All day.
And then killed with her own shield. I was like,
it's so good.
And so I was like, as soon as they were all done, and then the Ultron things devoured, I was like, what chance does Rachel McAdams have?
She's a mean girl.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. she'll just degrade her until she feels sad.
Listen here, you ugly bitch.
You
So Wanda's weakness is her low self-esteem.
I'm gonna put you in my burn book, bitch. That's what she should have said.
And like
you
it was
fugly slut.
When she took over like her other Wanda self, and you just saw like she terrorized her kids basically.
Yeah.
So that I kind of that's my kind of other issue with the movie is it had that really lame climax of you're presented with how you appear to the thing you're trying to save, and it's so repulsed that you then realize what you're doing is wrong. Like it. I appreciate that when you're telling this kind of story, that's almost the only conclusion that you can write because you've written yourself into a very narrow lane. Mm-hmm. But
it's not where I thought it was going.
Marvel is paying people more money than this to come up with. They should be coming up with more creative ideas.
Well, see, when she says, I can't defeat you, so I'm going to give you what you want, and she opens the portal to the other Wanda, that she's been possessing or whatever. I, no joke, thought for about 2 seconds, I was like, oh, the only thing that can defeat Wanda is Wanda.
Yeah.
And I thought that's where it was going, that it was going to be a witch battle.
Fighting. Yeah.
So a typical Marvel movie where it's a CGI fuckfest.
I would have taken it.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, hey.
But, the sentimental stuff of you look like a monster to your children, or, what your goal is I was okay.
Not your children, some children.
Someone's children.
Wanda doesn't actually have children. She made up fake children in Westview, and
Doctor Strange told her that like 3 times. They're not real.
They are not your children. I don't care. Like that is probably my biggest concern with using this is the first time a Marvel character that's a hero has become the villain. Mm-hmm. Like.
Which I'm here for. I love it.
Yeah, I'm down for it, but this was a real weak way to do it. Because technically Wanda's been a villain this entire time. Aside from like when she was fighting Thanos, she was a villain in
Ultron.
Yeah, in Age of Ultron and in WandaVision, she's a fucking villain. And in this, she's a villain. Yeah, she's a fucking villain. I don't care. Grieving or not, you take an entire city hostage, you're the bad guy.
But she was being manipulated by Agatha also. It was Agatha.
But then at the end of
who's been messing up everything? Nobody? All right.
Yeah, it's been Agatha all along. I mean, the worst thing about this movie is that it kind of makes WandaVision a lot less impactful.
Yeah.
Because WandaVision is better than this movie. WandaVision is really good.
Emotionally, it's definitely I think
stylistically WandaVision's better than this movie too, because WandaVision did something very specific really well that many people wish they could do and have tried and have really failed at. Which is that like period piece, like tribute-y shit, but still being entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
WandaVision was probably the most like unique thing Marvel has done. You could maybe argue Loki.
This would be second, I would say.
But yeah, I'd say
Loki. I think I found Loki to be as much as I enjoyed it. Loki was rather goddamn pedestrian, and essentially just Doctor Who.
I mean,
it's just
I don't have an opinion.
Okay, Doctor Who is a TV show about a time traveling, time manipulating weirdo who goes and saves planets and goes and inserts themselves into conflicts to be the moral good. And
it's also Legends of Tomorrow.
You've seen that one. Same difference.
Yeah.
Doctor Who did it first. Everybody else has been ripping him off is more my point. But like Loki tonally is very Marvel's Doctor Who. Yeah. I mean, you've got a good looking as Andy might say, twinkish gentleman in Tom Hiddleston.
I didn't say that. I said, yeah.
I mean, I don't.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
He's a cute guy. I mean, look, this movie, I wait for the time Marvel actually does a horror movie, but this is close.
I think this was it.
Yeah,
I hope this isn't it, because this is not enough.
Well, I'm saying more of this, please. But something tells me this might be it.
Oh, what about Blade? Well, no, because Blade's coming out. Blade has to be more of a horror movie.
True. Yeah. Oh, if it's not, sign me out. I'll still watch it though.
Yeah.
I like that. We're suckers for the content, ultimately.
I'm still gonna watch it, even though I'm mad. No, I like the Evil Dead reference in Doctor. What's his name? I've been calling him Magneto. I'm not too familiar with the X-Men. All right, Professor Sex. Sexy bald man. No, when he's in Wanda's, mind is like, you've been possessed by a witch or whatever, and she's under the floorboard kind of thing.
And then the thing just comes and like snaps his neck. Like the second half is very Evil Dead-y. Even the practical effects when he possesses his own body.
Oh my God!
That was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, anything with zombie Doctor Strange is like that's probably, other than like that weird Wanda fighting the Illuminati, like that's probably the second best part of the movie. It's just,
I'm glad that happened, because I was wondering what was the point of putting the body in the brick. I was like, that was just weird. That just happened for no reason. And then he came back later. I was like, oh, okay, it was a setup. I get it.
Check out his body.
Bruce Campbell.
Hey, Bruce Campbell's in the movie.
Pizza Papa.
I will tell you that I am immensely disappointed that somehow we have Bruce Campbell in a Doctor Strange movie, an MCU movie, and he doesn't end up as some multiversal version of Doctor Strange. Seems like a missed opportunity to me.
That'd be great.
I read that Sam Raimi wanted him on the Illuminati, and Marvel was like, no.
Fuck off.
Yeah, that would have been great.
They didn't need Monica Rambeau on there, that's for sure. Like, when she showed up, the audience was like, who the fuck is that? I'm sorry. It's because Captain Marvel was a sucky fucking movie. Like, Captain Marvel is you know what? Captain Marvel couldn't afford to have just been okay. That's the problem.
Justice for Jude Law, bro.
Dude, that movie wasted his ass big time. He's better than that. He's better than that movie deserved. Like,
that's interesting, though. That's so interesting to me, because when she shows up in Endgame, everybody was happy.
Captain Marvel, you mean? Yeah.
When she,
but she's also kind of like Doctor Strange, or she's more like Scarlet Witch. Like, her powers are so undefined, she could just theoretically blow a hole through Thanos.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, maybe it's just because it felt so there was no hope that we would take anybody, and Captain Marvel showing up, and she's supposed to be infinitely more powerful than the majority of them. I guess her showing up for Iron Man was just a sign of hope. Because when she, and then again, when she shows up at the end, when Wanda was going to kill Thanos, and he calls the Rain of Fire or whatever, and she blows up his ship. Everybody was happy about that. But the movie, which I've only seen once,
fucking same.
Yeah, I remember everyone not liking it. So that was the confusion for me when I was like hopping on the Marvel universe.
Maybe that's what we should do. The three of us should once a month rewatch the Marvel Cinematic Universe from the beginning.
Yeah,
take a real
once a month. We'll never have time to do anything else.
Take a trip down fuckery lane. What is that, like 40 movies at this point?
Like 28.
Well, it'll take 2 years.
Well, if you include the shows, it's like. Yeah.
We're not going to include the fucking shows. You include the movies.
All right. So what?
You know what makes me angry about all of this, though. So I keep thinking about the thing that you keep mentioning, Andrew, where it's like, and this character showed up in this, and everybody was glad, but when they were in their own movie, they sucked.
Right.
Captain Marvel should never have been introduced before Thanos showed up. Like, Captain Marvel should have been after Thanos. Like, what was added by that? Nothing.
You mean don't have the movie yet? Like,
have it after Endgame. Like, what was the point?
Right. So our first time ever seeing her would be her showing up to save Iron Man. I like that.
I don't know. I don't even know. I mean, literally wait until Endgame is over. Like, literally introduce her in phase fucking 4 or whatever.
Oh, okay.
I guess my point was. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying. I thought you meant like kind of like a Wonder Woman. When she shows
you
up
mean have her like show up at the end? Oh, you could have
like
done that
for like no reason, and then they just appear, and people would have lost their shit. Like, oh fuck, I think that's Captain Marvel.
Isn't that how Infinity War ended? Was with the
Infinity War
pager?
ends with her being called. Yeah, because the whole point was like Captain Marvel. You kind of needed her to beat Thanos.
Yeah,
I mean, they could have just ignored all his ships. And
what I'm saying is basically leave it the way it is, but not have released her film prior.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm contending that Captain Marvel, the movie, should never have come out until Endgame was over. Whenever you introduce her is unimportant, but like the thing I think with the Marvel movies, and you kind of mentioned this, Andrew, is like Thanos was from the stars, and most of the even Guardians is like it's still a terrestrial character.
Mm-hmm. And
so somebody from the stars automatically feels like a bigger force than if it's somebody from Earth could ever be. And so that's why it's like, oh, we got to get everybody together and we got to go. And, Spider-Man's going to space and all that. And remember, like, because in Endgame, one of the things is, like, Iron Man almost dies out in the middle of nowhere in space. Think about that now with the Multiverse of Madness movie. You could just be like, well, here we go. Come on back. Like, shit doesn't even matter anymore. And it's because, like, they needed to make sure they got these, like, the levels of the characters right. Because, like, Scarlet Witch should have been how Thanos died. Like, should have been a bigger part of it. And then it would have made more sense now where it's like Scarlet Witch is the villain and can just snap people out of existence. Like,
well, yeah, because she was ripping him a new one.
Right. And it, to me, it's just like Marvel, I think, fucked a little bit of this up, and we're kind of seeing maybe now the ripple effect of it, because I genuinely think they have no idea what they're doing.
Well, let's call them.
Yeah, I agree that it does seem like
let's call them. Hey, Kevin Feige, what do you got planned for the next 10 years?
There's not as much of a connective tissue, but like
there's not.
But it does really seem like they're leading up to Secret Wars with like the incursions and the Illuminati. Like these are all things.
But Kang is not Secret Wars.
Yeah, but I mean, you could just have Kang be the Doctor Doom figure, right? Like it's not that hard to just basically put another time traveling sociopath.
I mean, every time we talk about one of these Marvel movies, we end up talking about the state of things. So it's like, what's weird is, like, for the first time in a long time, I genuinely don't know where they go from here. Because, like, I agree Secret Wars is kind of probably what they're going for. But is that going to be a Thanos level threat?
It's reality altering.
But here's the thing, like, is a Thanos level threat, then do the people from the TV, is Moon Knight in the movie? Is, you know what I mean? Because, like, now it's this weird question of, like, they have all this stuff that they've created. If there's a world-ending threat, do you not then have to have as many of the people as possible? And if you don't, how do you explain that away? Because again, that was my joke about Marvel having enough money to do these multiverses. Like, they do have enough money. It's just whether or not they want to do it, pay for it. And like you said, Andy, like, it's all CGI at this point. Like, a lot of these cameos and things are just like, John Krasinski wasn't on fucking stage with them. Like,
I think we'll see the guy Eros after Eternals, and then we'll see the Clea Strange, and then now America, who we haven't really talked about, America Chavez. She was fine. They're trying to go for like the Tony Peter thing with. She was kind of a
MacGuffin in her movie where she's supposed to be one of the main characters.
I just didn't care, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
she's not given much of a, like, the actress is fine, but the character's not given much to do.
Yeah,
I'm sure she'll be a bigger part of the future movie.
The gay parents, that was the most exciting part for me.
She has gay parents in the comics as well.
But not in China.
Not in China. No.
God damn you.
How about that chase scene, that tunnel, that water tunnel? That was scary.
The one after Wanda kills all the Illuminati, and she's kind of just like crawling.
She's like,
hey, Sam Raimi nailed the tone. I'll tell you that much. Like, if the assignment is make a horror adjacent Marvel movie, I would say he nailed it.
Yeah. And then, look, I didn't know I was watching a Mother's Day film. You know, I took my girlfriend out for Mother's Day, and it was her choice of film. Secret, obviously, I wanted to see it too, though. And we sat down, and as soon as the plot would let itself be known, I said, I guess we're watching a Mother's Day movie. I didn't know that. Although that was great. I really liked that when he went to go ask her for help. He said, we need another Avenger. And she says, well, why don't you just bring America to me? I know. And then he stops dead and I still hadn't caught on yet. I was like,
I was like,
and she says, I didn't tell you. You didn't tell me the name, did you? And he's like, no. And she's like, well, fuck. All right, you caught me.
Again,
I'm the one that's been sending the demons after her because I need her.
9 times out of 10, that doesn't work. It worked here, but it's a rare occurrence where that fucking thing works.
It took me a sec.
I think it worked there, especially because like our perception of her is like she's one of the
Infallible,
good guys.
yeah.
And even I had read some stuff about her being part of the villain, but I didn't assume she was the villain to begin with because I was coming off of WandaVision. I thought, something's going to happen within the movie that she'll get corrupted. But it's like no, she's the villain from as soon as the movie starts. Like she is the reason there's problems.
Yeah, there's demons following this girl that she summoned. I did not see that coming.
No, I didn't either.
And she had a great line where she says, the spells are the easy part. It was the lying that, still a little hard for me. And everything turns back into like fucking Scarlet Witch land.
Yeah.
And right then, as soon as she was done, I was like, oh, okay, it was her. So now all along it was Scarlet Witch now. It was Wanda all along.
So she's definitely not dead, right?
No. I mean, well, it's going to be if Elizabeth Olsen's want to come back, whatever, they'll get like an alternate Scarlet Witch from another universe. But like the fact we saw, she's insanely powerful, and we saw the whole like red flash at the end, kind of
teleporting away.
Yeah, or
see, look at that. They can't get rid of that. There's too many toys to be made. Yeah. Marketing opportunities to be had.
And I actually think they're starting to like kind of get the hang of her character too. After like the first few movies, they didn't really know exactly what to do with her. I think now they're embracing like, okay, she's just insanely powerful.
And maybe the next movie is Clea Strange and Doctor Strange ripping the Scarlet Witch persona from.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like, again, like it feels now like Doctor Strange has to do something with Scarlet Witch because that's kind of like now they're kind of linked now, which is weird because Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch, that's not a comic book thing. That's a movie thing. Scarlet Witch is essentially X-Men. Like,
or Avengers.
Or Avengers, yeah. Like because she's Magneto's
daughter. And yeah.
In the comics.
Yeah. Her and Quicksilver are Magneto's kids.
Which is the whole, like, in the comic books, the House of M thing, she says no more mutants, and all the mutants disappear.
Except for, like, 182 of them.
Yeah,
something like that.
And so, but that's her level of strength in the comics, is, like, it's even more than in the movies. And again, like, in the comic books, you can have an entire galaxy explode, and it costs you whatever pen and paper you're drawing it on. So their limitations are boundless on paper, which is why comics are so great. But it's also why comics are so fucking daunting to get into. I mean, and I understand that as a movie watcher. Like, Andrew, I wouldn't even begin to know where to tell you to read comic books. Like, right, Yashar? You know what I mean? Like, the amount of stuff you would have to read to even get to where you and I are. Not that I'm saying we've read a lot, but we've read a fair amount.
You could do like key storylines and kind of just fill in some blanks.
There's plenty of 3 to 4 hour long YouTube videos, but like that's still a time investment. Like
for sure.
Where does the next thing? No, I'm just wondering. Like you brought up, will there be a next level Thanos type of?
Yeah.
Like is it Wanda? Because Thanos was defeated. Wanda stopped because she chose to stop.
Maybe.
I doubt it's going to be Wanda. I could be wrong, but it doesn't seem like that's the direction they're going. Before we get into that, like the post-credit stuff, do we want to just say like generally we're all positive about the movie, or should we just go to the post-credits?
I didn't know what it was. I didn't know who she was. I know who Charlize Theron is.
Okay, yeah. I didn't really recognize her either, but it seems like she's going to be leading into like I'm assuming a Secret Wars, which. So I mentioned it a bit earlier, Andy, but basically that was these two universes, which in the comics were the Ultimate Universe, which is where Miles Morales comes from, and their main 616 universe collide, basically. I forget what the mechanism of the collision is, but in the movie they explain, like, crossing over causes collisions. And
it weakens the wall between the two, essentially.
Yeah, and they basically take, like, all the main Marvel characters from this place called, like, Battle World, and Emperor Doom, and he's literally, like, Emperor God Doom, Dr. Doom is, like, the kind of king there, and they basically just fight amongst themselves to get like we're going to be the main universe, and then that storyline ends with the main Marvel universe essentially killing off the Ultimate Universe with some of the key characters like Miles Morales and a few others hopping over so they don't completely lose them, and then being absorbed. So like that is like this existential level threat. And it seems to be the direction they're hinting at. And I'm assuming Clea Strange and Doctor Strange are going to go do some investigating. I don't know.
Maybe try to prevent it from happening.
Yeah. And then
with his third eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. With his brown eye. What the, so his third eye is from being one with the Darkhold?
Cold. Yeah.
But is it a bad thing?
Because he screams, right?
But then he opens it in the secondary scene and he's like, let's do this.
Yeah, he's like, I'm good.
I got my third eye. Yeah. Or whatever fucking hands you. Too sweet, brother, or whatever the hell he's doing.
I think the implication is like he gets kind of a hand. He's not exposed to the Darkhold for like a year and a half like Wanda is.
Right.
Like I think the implication is like he's also more well trained, you know? If not, even though he's not as powerful. So I think the implication is he's going to be able to manifest it in a less destructive way.
Right.
You think Tilda Swinton was disappointed she didn't get called back for this movie?
I mean, she's dead.
But she was in fucking Endgame.
Yeah, because they went back in time.
As her past self.
Yeah.
But they could have just had an ancient one in another fucking universe. Come on.
Yeah. I mean,
come on, man.
Then why did Doctor Strange give him the stone? And she's like, what? Yeah.
I like the idea.
He gave him the stone.
I like
willingly?
it. I like that in this movie, fucking Black Bolt, Anson Mount comes back.
Yeah.
Inhumans was such a piece of shit TV show, but like, okay, you know what? Give this man his due.
That's the craziest thing about like Marvel and all this stuff. Is it because they built so much goodwill, even wrapping in their shitty things? It was like, oh, that's that thing. Like it's all connected.
That's the best. Like that for me was the biggest surprise. Like John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic just felt like an inevitability. Like who the fuck else are they going to cast? And if they don't cast Emily Blunt, like you're really doubling down on stupidity. But I was like, okay, so he's back just to die. But at the same time, like that, it would have been like Iron Fist being in this. Like it's the second least most fucking popular thing Marvel's ever done.
They're gonna do it, and people are gonna fucking love it. Like
I was most surprised by Anson Mount being in this movie. I was like, good. Yeah. They acknowledged a show that I thought nobody even fucking realized happened.
Yeah, no, I promise you, if they ever decide to have Iron Fist characters or whatever, like you will 100%, if not him passing the torch over, you'll at least see Finn Jones like in some capacity.
William Hurt came back in later movies. Like if not for the fact that William Hurt passed away, we probably would have gotten fucking Thunderbolt as the Hulk. Like it's. And that's the thing, like Marvel can, because like if everything was shitty, but because they have so many things that people like, you just say, here's the shitty thing, we'll throw in the thing you like and be like, oh, they included that. Isn't that cool? Yeah. I mean, they get us every time.
Where is the Hulk?
Where
is he?
So at the last time we saw him was at the end of Shang-Chi. You see he's reverted back to human form, and him and Captain Marvel looks like they're recruiting Shang-Chi.
Right. They show up and
Yeah. And he goes,
shit, I haven't even seen that movie. This is the first This is the
Shang-Chi's
first Marvel movie.
Great.
This is the first Marvel movie I think I've seen. I mean, I saw Spider-Man, but Spider-Man was a fucking Sony movie. It was not a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi, I fully.
Yeah, Shang-Chi's really good.
Enjoyed that. Yeah. So I can't wait to see that.
I need to watch it. finally.
Yeah.
And actually, Black Widow and the Eternal.
Black Widow's okay. Like I like the characters. Black Widow has like good characters.
Black Widow was fine.
But the stories, whatever.
Eternals, I didn't give a fuck.
Eternals is fine. Like it looks cool, good acting. The plot's kind of meh.
Has Angelina Jolie in it and Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah, I mean they're both like it's like you watch it, you're like that's fine.
Where were they? Where were you?
It explains it in the movie.
Yeah, well they have to because otherwise it doesn't make any fucking sense.
We cannot. They're not.
They don't intervene.
Oh my fucking.
Except the one or two times they did.
Where were you when Thanos happened? We weren't allowed. We knew what was going on, though.
Honestly, I just want to see. I just want to see how every Marvel universe handled Thanos, because like it's such a big deal in the MCU universe. Like in the movies, that
they're still talking about it,
right? Like the fact that it gets brought up in this movie, like that was the coolest thing in my opinion. It was like this is how we defeated Thanos. It's like that's fucking cool. Like that's pretty nifty.
Did you see What If?
Yeah.
Okay, because obviously in one of the universes, Thanos actually becomes like a good guy, and he's like,
right.
"Oh, I
just didn't understand that I was a dickhead the entire time." Well, that's the thing, right? Like, there's plenty of universes where Thanos wasn't a bad guy.
Yeah, or he doesn't even exist, probably.
Right,
you know?
but Andrew, back to that original question, like Kang, what's that actor's name? The one from Loki?
Jonathan Majors.
Jonathan Majors, he plays Kang, who is like the Emperor of Time.
Yeah,
This is the guy.
Kang is
It's the African American guy that Loki and girl Loki kill.
And then that one he was playing, I forgot the name of the character. He's playing. Kang is a very confusing character because there's like there's like Immortus.
He's Kang, literally like
Iron Lad. There's like, so I don't know if you've heard of Young Avengers, but in Young Avengers actually started by this character named Iron Lad, which is a younger version of Kang who's trying to avoid becoming Kang. So he like recruits the Young Avengers. It's very confusing.
And then there's old Kang that knows about what his younger self does, which is the version that we get in Loki.
And then there's Immortus, who's not Kang, but like, and also Kang lived in like the Egyptian. He's a very, very confusing character. But anyways, his whole thing is he wants time and power. He's kind of got Doctor Doom-esque, but motivations, but over like, whereas Doctor Doom just wants to kind of rule the world. He wants to rule time.
Everything.
Which is why I think Kang could be a stand-in for Doctor Doom if they did Secret Wars. And we for sure know Kang is going to show up in the new Ant-Man movie. So yeah. Because it's Ant-Man and Wasp in
Quantumania. So that it will have nothing to do with quantum anything. If this movie's title is to be believed, it will have nothing to do with quantum anything.
They'll talk about it though.
Yeah, they'll say there's lots of multiverses, and we talk all about them, but you will never see them.
So if by the end of Quantumania we still don't know what Marvel's doing, then I'll be concerned. But I feel like that movie will probably have a lot of.
Can you believe we got a multiverse movie in the MCU, Yashar, and we didn't get Marvel Zombies anything? I mean, we got Zombie Doctor Strange, but we got
Marvel Zombies and What If.
I know, but that's not fucking enough. Come on, man! Like, come on. It's just like the Marvel Zombies is like the thing. Like in
they're doing
opinion,
a show.
I know, but it's in an MCU movie is what I'm saying. Like I know it's animated, but the animated stuff only matters in as much as they want it to. Like Captain Carter is cool. Is probably one of the cooler things in Doctor Strange because that is from the cinematic.
Yeah. Although it's not
animated.
The same.
Of course not.
because we want to use her still later, but like we want to show you.
He was
intense.
Action.
She was intense. Peggy Atwell doesn't fuck around.
Yeah, when they showed her face the first time, she was like.
The weird thing about Captain
I'm doing
Carter,
the face, by the way.
Is she was easily the weakest of the Illuminati, yet somehow lasted the longest. I know it was just to give her like fan service, but. Just I had trouble a little.
Captain Carter, bro, come on. She's the one with the
she doesn't rely on
shield.
superpowers. She doesn't rely on superpowers.
Mr. Fantastic doesn't rely on shit, apparently.
like spaghetti.
Like, yeah.
That was funny.
So the thing with Daniel Craig was that she was going to make him kill himself, right? Wanda was going to convince Daniel Craig's character to blow his own brains out.
What?
What do you mean Daniel Craig's character?
The character that Daniel Craig was supposed to play, that John
Krasinski. She was supposed to have like a more violent death. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he was supposed to like, as opposed to her like, spaghettiing Mr. Fantastic, which is again like the lamest way to kill him.
Throw a little bit of fettuccine, just throw a little bit of Alfredo.
Where did he go? He's just like he's on the ground. Is he dead or is he like?
No, he got shredded.
Where does it's a Fantastic Four movie? Supposedly, the guy from Spider-Man was directing it,
but now he's out. My guess is if Krasinski does decide, they're probably
give him the directorial chair.
Yeah, I would guess if he actually is going to do the movie, like be the actual Mr. Fantastic. But do
we want that as audience? Do we want to see him as Mr. Fantastic, or is it good that we've seen it now? Like.
I got it out of the way.
We've seen it, like it's good. Like I don't need to see it again.
His performance was kind of wooden, but like it was like a 10 performance, so like he could be better. I mean, he is a solid actor. He's not like my number one to be Mr. Fantastic.
Who's your number one? Yoan Grufford.
Bro, bring him back.
Bring him back. Bring Yoan Grufford back. I don't care what anybody says. He's into wet works.
If they bring in Chris Evans as Human Torch, I will lose my fucking mind.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing that everybody wants from some multiverse shit. Have Mr. Fantastic played by Yoan Grufford and just interact. Yeah, just give us that.
Yeah.
Michael Chiklis is in the prosthetic suit once again.
Oh yeah. So who you guys want as Mr. Fantastic?
You didn't give your answer.
Yeah, I feel like I thought about this, and I was going to let you guys talk. Well,
I don't see. Here's the thing: like, it's really unfortunate because John Krasinski kind of is the best choice. Like, as much as I fucking hate it,
he's the obvious.
he's the obvious choice because he looks like him. Like,
yeah,
he looks like such a like John Krasinski when he wants to can look like a fucking dope, and Mr. Fantastic is a fucking dope. And he looked like a dope in the movie with that dopey haircut and that dopey goatee and that suit that, like, the Fantastic Four suit is the dumbest suit in all of superhero dumb because it's like, it just has to be this kind of like Lycra suit so that it can respond to our powers. But you just look like you're wearing pajamas. It's just like big blue pajamas. And I as much as I want to say like there's somebody better, like I think John Krasinski just deserves to be Mr. Fantastic because he kind of just looks like him. Like,
what about you, Andy?
Tyler Perry.
A very Medea Fantastic Four.
Medea's Fantastic Four family reunion.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Come on,
Will
Yashar.
Smith.
Will Smith, yeah.
No.
He really cares about his family. That's what I've been told.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God.
That's what he
What do you
meant
mean you
when-
can't see my wife?
You can't.
Got him.
He was happy about the mouth disappearing, you know.
Oh, geez. Oh,
Yeah.
geez. Oh, geez. If I could choose anyone to be Mr. Fantastic right now, I would probably say...
I don't know the character.
I'm doing like I literally have a mental block.
Told you.
You want someone that's probably a little bit older, kind of grizzled. Like Liam Neeson 20 years ago would have been a great Mr.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
it's the problem is like a lot of the actors that I would pick are too old at this point.
Yeah.
Unless you're like doing like Mr. Fantastic old.
Old man Fantastic.
Well, is the character badass or is he like silly?
He's a fucking nerd. Like,
it depends. More recently, he's been written kind of like
Because I was going to say Jason
a little
Statham.
harsher.
Okay, hold on. Bear with me here. Chris Pratt. Just
No.
why not?
He's too Jesus-y.
Is there a fucking Hemsworth brother we could trot out to play him?
Liam Hemsworth.
He's on Westworld. He doesn't need the work.
No, Liam Hemsworth actually would be a good Human Torch.
I don't even know. Like, the problem with the Fantastic Four is like I can't even think of who I would cast as the. You know what?
Did you say Hemsworth as the Human Torch?
Liam Hemsworth,
Because he's so
Hemsworth's
hot.
younger brother. No, Chris's younger brother. He actually kind of looks like him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because he's so hot.
What about John Cena as
Invisible Woman? As Sue Storm? Where is he? You don't see him.
as Ben Richards?
Who did?
Actually, that
The thing, the thing.
Yeah, the thing.
Oh,
John
okay.
Cena is the thing. Is actually a good casting.
That's a good one, right?
Yeah, that's a good one. Actually,
Right. You know what? Honestly, John Cena could be Mr. Fantastic.
He wouldn't even
I
fit
don't
in the
know.
suit.
I don't
How's he
know.
gonna fit in the suit?
I don't know.
Owen Wilson.
He's already in.
Wow.
Oh, Luke Wilson as Mr. Fantastic.
Luke Wilson actually kind of has the look, but
Yeah, he
kind of
has that
personality.
dope. Well, here's the funny thing. As we come to the end of this episode, as we've talked about John Krasinski a lot, remember who John Krasinski almost played? He was like one of
America.
two. Yeah, he was one.
It
It was down to Chris Evans and John Krasinski for the role of Captain America.
Bring it full circle.
But yeah, given that Chris Evans plays the other Fantastic Four
Fantastic Four. Yeah.
Yeah. So I honestly, like, when I think of Mr. Fantastic, for me, like, John
Evan
Krasinski.
Peters. Daniel Radcliffe. I'm just naming.
Actually, Evan Peters as a younger Mr. Fantastic could be interesting.
Do they need to address what the deal with Evan Peters' character in the MCU?
That confused the shit out of me.
Okay, he was an alternate universe guy that just happens to look like Quicksilver. It was a troll, basically. That was
Really?
Yeah. And
I was like, why
but-
would they
but
go
do
way
you-
out of their way to do that? And
Yeah,
then
but
it
do you
didn't
think
have no
that-
payoff?
Ralph Boner.
Do you think that that will stand, or do you think that there will be some like retconning?
No, that'll stand. If they want him to bring the same Quicksilver over, they will. It'll just be like, oh, here's Quicksilver from that universe.
That's
But my guess is we've had two Quicksilvers now.
Aaron Taylor Johnson,
Who's now going to be
like
Kraven the Hunter.
Fucking Christ, dude.
Kick-Ass, though. Those Kick-Ass movies.
Yeah, he was Kick-Ass, right? Yeah.
Those are good. Those are not related in any way, are they?
Well, no.
Okay.
Well, they're superhero movies.
Yeah, the superhero movies.
I don't know.
yeah.
I thought that for a while I was convinced that they were like some kind of like off-brand Marvel or some shit.
I mean, they kind of are.
I mean, Mark Millar did write Civil War, and he wrote
like Deadpool area. sort of
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Well, Deadpool is essentially Marvel's answer to that kind of stuff.
thing.
yeah, and they are doing Deadpool 3 in like the same continuity, but because like now Deadpool 3 is gonna have wonky like one-off multiverse bullshit in it for sure.
Well, whatever it is Deadpool has to end up in the MCU by the end of it.
Yeah.
There was a
That's the thing.
theory that Deadpool could defeat the Scarlet Witch because he can't die.
I mean, he can die. It's just very hard to kill him. Like you basically have to like just.
I think she would just get
Safer.
frustrated and leave it alone.
I mean,
so?
I'm honestly kind of surprised that they didn't use this movie to introduce X-Men and Deadpool, because like that, again, like with the whole shit with Professor X, it's like you kind of wanted to, but you didn't.
That was like a very like soft, like X-Men are here. We're not going to say it. Here's probably like the most beloved one besides Wolverine.
Yeah, if she was in that kind of Deadpoolish universe, then they could do full-blown Scarlet Witch gore fest.
Yeah,
Like
that's
just
fair.
violent extravaganza, just because
Yeah.
I could see it, just her walking around blowing people up and shit. It's very Leprechaun.
I'm glad you said-
I would watch. See, I would watch that movie. Like,
I'm glad you finished that sentence with "up" because I was like, "Whoa."
Oh yeah, blow people up.
just walking
Yeah.
around blowing people
I was like,
That's
you
a
know what?
horror film.
in a very special Marvel movie.
I'm like, that's an interesting universe. I would watch it.
I
Isn't
like
there
the
a movie
Go
about
ahead.
a ghost that blows people. There's a horror film.
Ghostbusters.
No, it's like a
Harold,
It's scary?
the Harold
Is that
Ramis
scary?
cut of the
it's like a B movie horror film, and it's like
Ghostbusters After Come.
they're trapped in a cabin, and this ghost is like terrorizing the men.
What the fuck are you talking about?
It keeps like blowing them and stuff.
This is the multiverse of madness, all right.
I'm telling you, I
This
know. I saw
podcast
the
has
trailer.
descended into the multiverse of madness.
Oh my God.
Where does
I mean, like-
where do the Hostel movies exist within this universe, you guys think?
Do you mind giving me the address of that cabin? I'm going to go investigate.
Like the girls are not like in peril in this movie. It's the guys that are like hiding.
Cabin in the woods, ooh. Cabin in the
Yeah,
woods,
Cabin in the Woods
yeah.
2.
Yeah, Cabin in the Woods #2. Electric fuckaroo. Jesus Christ.
We see what happened to Chris Hemsworth's character after the first one. He's just been in this cabin. Just
Talk about a fucking movie that I do not like.
You don't like Cabin in the Woods? Okay, we'll save that.
That
for
movie
another
is
time.
up its own ass, dude.
It's a multiverse movie.
Oh, it is, isn't it? Without any
Yeah.
branding. A brandingless multiverse movie. The only way to do it anymore, apparently.
I still actually need to see everything or everyone everywhere all at once. Apparently that.
Yeah,
one.
so that's the other
Amazing.
weird thing I wanted to mention. That Michelle Yeoh movie that you just mentioned. People are comparing it to this movie. Sounds very similar. Movie about multiverses. If I go and see that and it's better than this movie, which it more than likely is.
I've heard it is.
Yeah, it'll be like Marvel. What you guys are paying people way too much money to not do something that someone who's a fucking more than likely indie filmmaker is doing with Michelle Yeoh for 1/3, probably 1/10 of the price,
1/10 of the price, bro.
1/100th of the price.
Yeah, but apparently it's supposed
Oh
to be
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. I a friend of mine messaged me while we were sitting here talking, saying that she watched it and that it was good. So, not saying this movie's not good, but here's the thing,
So,
like not even the spoilers, the rumored spoilers, because there was the whole thing like Tom Cruise is going to be in this movie as Iron Man.
The
Remember
writer
that?
did want. The writer wanted him, like did pitch it,
Sure.
but just never went anywhere. He was just like, because Tom Cruise was almost Iron Man, actually.
Right. But my point
there's-
my point being just like the movie I wanted this to be, I think, and the movie it somewhat made the promise of with the title is not the movie that it delivered for a number of reasons, but for a movie that has had as many problems as this movie did coming out, I still think it's a pretty good MCU movie.
Yeah.
And I think we're past the point now where people are like, we're going to hire you to make a Marvel movie and you're just going to have to make it the way we want. This is very much, in a lot of ways, a Sam Raimi movie, too.
Mhm.
I do think Marvel is like, they obviously have very specific things you need to do, and like you have some constraints, but it does seem like they're more open to letting directors cook a little bit. Like even like Eternals, like was okay, but like Chloe Zhao was like, I want to film on location. I don't want to just film like in a box in Atlanta, and she did. And so,
I mean, remember the original Captain America is directed by Joe Johnston, who fucking directed one of my favorite movies, The Rocketeer.
The Rocketeer.
That should have been The Rocketeer, but with Captain America, and it was
kind of like The Rocketeer.
It was kind of, but it was also really not, because they didn't let him do his thing. They wanted it to be a Marvel movie, and I get it. Like, that's the third or fourth Marvel movie out of the gate, so I get it. That's a little different than now, but I wish they had been letting directors do this the whole time.
Yeah, but I actually think those early Marvel movies, they were more open. Like, I thought First Avenger was good, and like Thor, they wanted something more Shakespearean, so they brought in Brenna. And then I think kind of once it went like around phase 2, where it's sort of in cruise control, where they're like, all right, we want to be very controlled. And I think through Endgame, they were kind of specific about the type of tone, which it wasn't bad. I enjoyed most of it.
But it was all very samey.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, I think we might be past it finally, where every Marvel movie feels the same. I haven't seen Shang-Chi or the Eternals or Black Widow yet. And again, it was because I was worried that they were all going to feel like the same fucking movie I've seen 8 million times. Again, I like these Marvel movies, but there are no stakes in these movies at this point. Like,
yeah. No, I think they're less samey now.
I think so. Spider-Man No Way Home was really good. Like, it was a really good movie. It was a good Spider-Man movie.
I did really enjoy No Way Home a lot. Justice for Andrew Garfield.
And Tobey Maguire, for that matter.
I mean, but
Justice for both of them, really, because, I mean, Andrew Garfield got the shorter end of the stick because he didn't even get to finish out his movies. But, I mean, Tobey Maguire, that third movie of his universe, got pretty fuckarooed on its own.
Yeah.
But hey, don't forget that the Venom in the MCU is the Venom from Spider-Man 3. Yep, there's only in Spider-Man No Way Home, villains who know Spider-Man's identity travel to the MCU. Venom knew Peter Parker was Spider-Man. He travels to the MCU.
I don't understand. I don't know, because the whole point was that Venom has like a hive mind, so it's like connected to all the other Venoms in every other universe. So the one in Tobey Maguire's universe knew that he's Venom.
I just assumed it's the same one. Why not?
No.
Who cares at this point?
Does
it really matter?
Grace. No.
Justice for Topher Grace what? Justice for Topher Grace what?
Release the Topher cut.
God, Spider-Man 3 is, again, one of those movies where the movie that they could have done was a lot better than the movie that they did.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Raimi didn't want to put Venom in the movie.
No, because Venom needs his own movies to get to a point where you can introduce him, which is maybe where they're at with Venom now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where the MCU goes anymore. I hope they figure it out, because I feel like they were kind of consistent through the first 3 phases of the MCU. And we knew we're Thanos, and there was building towards Thanos, and that made sense. I haven't seen that yet, and I don't know how many more movies we need to go before they introduce that, because it feels kind of like they're just treading water. Treading some fun water, but I don't think they're making any forward progress towards whatever that next thing is.
Like, is it another Avengers movie?
That's the question. I mean, do they ever make another Avengers movie?
Again, like, where do you go Avengers wise from Endgame? Is so, the stakes are so catastrophic, you know what I mean? So like from there, it's like,
right.
We're just saving a city again, like after we saved the world and the universes, and
right. Well, that's why they have to introduce this some sort of multiversal villain, because whatever the next thing is should be them saving the universe or the multiverse.
Right.
But then after that, where do they go?
Right. And my question is, then that higher being has to be more powerful than the Scarlet Witch. If she's not the villain, then that means wouldn't she still, if she's still alive, which she is, because we're not dumb.
We're not correct. We are not dumb.
Say she's still alive. That means that she's still in the universe, which means people would go to her for help.
Marvel loves a good redemption story.
Yeah, so then that means, is this being more powerful than Wanda, which so far she seems to be the most powerful being that I've seen.
But if Kang can control the multiverse, we've already been established that in the multiverse, magic and stuff doesn't really, in the TVA at least, magic and stuff doesn't really do anything. So then she'd be
pointless, right?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the point.
Then who's saving the day? You know what I mean? Like,
we'll find out.
Is it Shang-Chi with the 7 rings?
See, and again, that's what I don't know here is because, like you asked, Andrew, where is Hulk, right? Like, there are still the legacy, I guess, are they legacy characters now?
We're going to see Hulk and She-Hulk next, by the way.
But my question is, like, are they legacy characters now?
Yeah.
How does this operate anymore? Because Andrew he's not. He's a legacy character who's still getting his own movies made. So right. I don't know, like, who when they've gotten to the point where the main overall threat has been introduced and someone has to do something about it. Andrew's point is valid. Who are those characters?
Yeah.
Are they people that
I've seen their powers. It's like, doesn't seem, if this guy is really in control of all space and time, then how the fuck are they going to do anything? What are they supposed to do?
They got Black Widow fighting Thanos, so I'm sure they'll figure something out.
I mean, she did a lot more than fucking Hulk did, and
also fair.
I was Jesus, Hulk was just useless in the last 2 movies.
Yeah, it was kind of sad. That's
kind of been Hulk's MO in Marvel movies. Well,
yeah, that's why you guys bring Hulk up. I'm like, nah, he's not gonna do anything.
But the problem with the other thing with Hulk is Hulk has been stymied by the fact that he's been owned by Universal, and for whatever reason,
they can't get his own movie.
The MCU doesn't want to give Universal any more money than they have to. So,
but you see, plot wise, he got punched in the throat by Thanos and then said, "Tap out. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm good." You're telling me that the Hulk wasn't ready to like keep getting back up, and I don't know.
I think the way they used the Hulk in Infinity War and Endgame was pretty bad. I don't think anybody has ever like gone up against anyone and been like that. No, the Hulk is really great. The Hulk effectively presses some buttons and snaps his fucking fingers. Like, that's all he does.
Yeah, so I don't know.
It's weird because, like, for a long time with the MCU, I felt like I knew where they were going. I knew what they were doing. And I had a sense of kind of the story progression, at least the main beats, and how they were going to get there. And now it's just like, it feels more like they might just go all off and do their own things.
I hope so, because Eternals, they don't do anything. You haven't seen it. But from the leave off from that movie, I was like, there was no epic showdown in my mind. It didn't feel like anybody was like the most powerful, except for the guy who is basically Superman.
The guy from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. And Shang-Chi is pretty impressive, like the powers that he gains.
But his powers are like mid-tier Marvel.
Yeah, so it's like, like if we don't have the Scarlet Witch on our side, I don't know. It feels very like, maybe that's the point. Maybe the point is, how are they going to be able to defeat whatever the next phase is going to be? What's the big threat? And the big threat would have to be something way bigger than Thanos' plan.
Yeah,
well,
for sure.
And at this point, it has to be, because Thanos, like, again, like we've mentioned, like, they have to escalate. So it's either they do someone of the same level as Thanos, but at this point they can't because there's multiverses. So you have to introduce something that's a threat to everyone, not just a threat to your universe. Because now we know that there are millions of universes that exist anyway. So who fucking cares?
Yeah.
So Andy, would you after all the spoilers, you still would suggest people go and see Doctor Strange?
Yes, and in fact, I plan to see it again. What
about you, Yashar? Final thoughts on Doctor Strange?
Definitely super into it. It's not the perfect movie, but it's highly entertaining. It's really fun to watch. And if you like Sam Raimi, or if you just like weird shit, or if you just like a dude's head getting blown up, watch it.
That's all in a Marvel movie, which is not something we could say before this movie came out. So I think it's an interesting foray into what Marvel could do if they really wanted to push their thematic envelope into a direction that they seemingly haven't done a lot of soul searching in, which is kind of more genre fare, like horror movies. And maybe this is the start of that. I can only hope that it is, but realistically, if it's not, hopefully they do something else, because I can't really advise and get behind them going back to the way things used to be, which was everything samey in between. Pretty much, I guess, Avengers 1 until Endgame all felt very tonally the same. So maybe we're not there anymore. I hope they get their act together in regards to the direction they're going. Maybe they already know it and it's just being intentionally vague to be intentionally vague, but it kind of feels like they're treading water. Pandemic happened. I get it. fucked everything up. So maybe these will just be the pandemic years of the MCU, and the train will be chugging far along ahead, and it won't even matter. So, but on that note, Andy, where could people find you when you're not here talking about movies with me?
All things Andy Gnosis. Gnosis, by the way. That's Twitter, Facebook. The website is not called All Things Andy Gnosis, although what a cool title.
That could be what its name is.
That could be, yeah. But no, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Andy Gnosis.
Yashar, I would give you an opportunity to plug something, but the only thing...
Wait, I got a Twitter just so I can look at links now. I have 2 followers, at Pirasteh Yashar, which is I will probably never post anything. I actually am checking it now for the first time in like a month.
You're going to be one of those. You're going to be one of those profiles that Elon Musk looks at to see if it's real or not.
Yeah.
I have 2 followers. He's real, folks.
Yeah.
Fucking Christ. Well, there you go. Yashar has a Twitter now, so go harass him, please. Make him quit Twitter like he did before. Yeah. As for me, cstachu.com, cstachiw.com. That's my link tree. Go there for all the things that I work on, which are numerous in variety. So yeah, that's where you can go for that. Culturecast.com, patreon.com/culturecast, all those places to support the show. And you should, if you want to, if you're listening to the show, you kind of already are. So there you go. Yashar, Andy, thank you so much for joining me to talk about this movie that we didn't plan on talking about. We literally planned this podcast in the last 24 hours. Which is a testament to spontaneity, folks, and just wanting to talk about horror movies. So
I mean, it's pretty crazy that we would talk about the probably the biggest movie of the year. Yeah, Chris.
Right.
Crazy.
I mean, again, there are plenty of movie podcasts that don't talk about new movies. There are plenty of them, much more successful than mine, that don't.
Name 69 of them now.
I'll name one of them, The Projection Booth. I only have to name one because everything else, 69. You know how many movie podcasts there are worth listening to? There is a very small list of them. It's not as expansive as one might think. So yeah, we'll leave the show at that fucking depressing note. Thanks, Yashar. Make sure to catch us on the next episode, I guess.